think I've finally managed to get this thing working. I don't know. Having all kinds of trouble tonight getting it set up, but should be okay. Can you just send me a message in chat? Let me know that I'm actually talking to people and it's working. That would be great. I'm just gonna start assuming that you guys can see me and everything is good. So what I plan to do was super low. Okay. Let me see if I can improve that. Yeah, all kinds of weird things has been happening here. Hopefully that improves it. Any better? It still looks really low. Hmm. Let's try this. How's that? Somebody's been messing around with my settings, so hopefully things are okay here. Or do I need to be a little bit louder? I think this is probably good. Maybe even too high. I don't know. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I had all kinds of things happening to my computer, and this actually seems a little bit too loud. And all my settings are just crazy wrong. Things are not working properly, but I'm getting it. It's starting to come together now. Okay, good. So what I plan to do tonight is just go through some of the things that I have learned over the 3 days of Huns, since it is the first week. And this isn't obviously the official video where I'm gonna like give a breakdown of the Huns Invasion and try to make it like an overview of what to do and stuff. It's still preliminary knowledge, things that are getting worked out. And in the last video, the last live stream I did is just a general kind of, this is my first view on it, and this is what I think. But I have noticed a few things and learned a few things through the hell mode, and I think I did, I don't know, about 5 of them, and one of them failed. I think one of them we got, no, 2 of them, and I did 6. So one of them I got to, the first one I did, we got to level 9. There was only myself and another person in the alliance, and then there was a couple people that were really small, and they probably should not have been in there. But, you know, it's good try to see how far you get. I did another one yesterday that was just random people, and we only got to 8. That one did not work out very well. But all the other 5 or so that we did were all successful and with varying levels of players. But I will give a couple of recommendations here for Nightmare and Hell, just from my experience. If you are trying to queue for Hell, you should be minimum 1 billion power. And power isn't necessarily the indicator of how strong you are, but you need to have enough troops that they can be somewhat disposable, and you need to have also not just the power, but you need to have generals that can actually back up your power. In the second one that we failed, and we only got to level 8, there were some players in there that were quite large, but I don't think they had the buffs to really use their power, and they were kind of just fodder, so we didn't get very far, unfortunately. But if you have outstanding buffs and you have really really good focus, then you could probably swing it at like 800 million or so, but you'd have to be exceptional. So a good standard is probably you need to be a minimum of 1 billion to be queuing here. And I'll just show you, like, if I click match, I gotta recall my troops here. But if you click match, I was browsing around yesterday, and there were people that were barely 200 million or so, like just the bare minimum, trying to do it, and you're not going to get very far. People might be able to carry you, but you probably should not be doing Hell at that level. You'll get nearly the same rewards from Nightmare, If you can run hell with your alliance and defeat it once, then you get the rewards, and then you have no reason to really be in there. It's just some extra flags. So you might as well do Nightmare just to get it out of the way. Nightmare is significantly easier. If you are above 200 million, you're pretty good shape for Nightmare. 200 to 500 million is probably the standard, I'm guessing, for that. Somebody messaged here saying, I know I was talking, but do you think the Hun rewards are a bit underwhelming? Actually, no. I thought so when I saw the notes about what they would be, but I'm actually pretty excited for the rewards here. They seem underwhelming just because they're not as flashy as like getting like here's 1,000 badges or something like that. Like that's great, but that also is a good segue to point something out that not everybody has realized. If you go to the Huns Invasion after you have completed whatever mode you did, if it's your first time to complete it, make sure you go to the top right of the screen here, this glowing chest, and you click it. Because otherwise you're not going to claim all your rewards. It's just like all the other menus and stuff where you have to click stuff or they disappear. If you don't go here and you don't claim them, you're not going to get them. It doesn't just go to your inventory. So make sure you actually do that. It's not very intuitive, unfortunately, but definitely go in there and click it. It looks like you still have 1 day after this video. So like the Huns will end in 2 hours, but you can still click them the day after. So make sure you do that. Some other things that I did notice. I was talking about the rewards. I think the rewards are great, personally, because some of the things that you can get here are just really hard to obtain otherwise. So I don't really care about speed ups or resource chests or even scrolls, like dragon scrolls. They're just, I mean, maybe if there were the other one, the Ecumenidae, I might try that, but these are obtainable in the game fairly easily, and I don't really care so much about the tokens because you can only get one anyway, so how impactful is that? You might as well just click on the general fragment thing or do the daily one more time. Like, it's not that great in terms of that, but what I really, really like is the fact that you can get runestone chests and refining stones. They're so hard to obtain in game at the high level anyway. So just to have another source to buy those is huge. It's really, really huge. I'm always struggling with refining stones, and that's why my PvP generals are not that great. And this is going to be, depending on how often the battlefield, I'm thinking it's going to be once a week. But if it is, I should be able to get, I don't know, like several thousand more refined stones per week, and that's pretty huge to me, at least. Okay, so some of the things that I noticed before I actually get in here and queue, I want to share a report that I hope I saved. Yeah, I did. Okay, so this is from Hell mode, and I tried to test some things out here just to see what would happen at the end on level 10. This is Hell. So 1.9 billion power is what the Hell mode would be. So this isn't going to apply to everybody, because not everybody here is going to actually go through Hell. That's a funny way to say it, to go through Hell. But the strategy here does apply to everybody in general. So you'll notice that from like the buffs, they have some pretty massive buffs, and you really want to counter that. But mine aren't that great. What I did is I focused on ranged troops, and here's a very quick suggestion. I suggest that this is, again, preliminary suggestions. It's not like set in stone. It's just an idea of something that could work. I would suggest if you have a party that you're running with and they're not random people, you possibly have one person focus on improving their buffs for mounted troops, one person focus on improving their buffs for ground troops, and the rest all go ranged and just max that out as much as possible. You want to have a little bit of a mix, but range is just quite strong, so you do want to do that. There's some differences also between how I suggest you send your March presets, and it's unfortunate we have so few March presets. But here's an example. So actually, this is cavalry, so I'm going to skip that. The test that I did over here is I wanted to see what would happen if I did higher level troops and also layers in comparison to no layers, because we had Ares in here, who is a very, very strong player. He's an excellent player, but I noticed that he was not using layers, so I'm going to go down. And he was sending an archer march. And this is no criticism on Ares. The guy's a monster, so don't take this the wrong way. It's just a quick analysis on how we could improve. So Ares, I hate scrolling through these things. Okay, Ares is down here. Yeah, right here. Okay, so I will say straight up, he's got a much stronger Minamoto. His buffs are phenomenal. He's an excellent player. His layers, though, he chose to only do... there's 2 troops that are tier 13, and the rest are tier 14. I have heard a lot of people saying that layers don't matter for Huns, and I disagree, and here is an example of why I disagree, and one of the things I tested. Over here, take a look at his kills. Take a look at his wounded, and this is no layers. Okay, look at his tier 14 kills and his wounded. Okay, and then over here, what I did with Raven is I told him to go top heavy. I said, send as many tier 14 as you can, and let's see how that stacks up against me, and I'll send tier 13 and tier 14 split. So here's how he did with just general layers and some tier 13 and a lot of tier 14. And I'll say that his general is significantly weaker than Ares as well, but he's got more than double the kills and far less, like not even a quarter of the wounded, simply because of the layers. And then look at me. I have slightly better of a general than Raven here. I have layers all the way up. And I went a mix of tier 13. Let's see, I have almost no tier 12. And I went a mix of tier 13. So I did about 700,000 tier 13. And about the same of tier 14. So I have about the same kills, as a little bit less actually than Raven. I have less wounded. So I'm not sure if splitting tier 13 and tier 14 is better or worse. I'm not sure. But I can say that layers are important just from analyzing these reports, because he has way stronger buffs than we do, and we performed quite a bit better. And also significantly less wounded. You look at my wounded for my tier 14, I have 0. And 84,000 here. So it is a fairly significant difference, especially if you aren't 5 billion power and you have like lots of troops to go one stage after the other. If you have disposable troops, yeah, whatever. But a lot of people that are watching this probably don't. So layers do matter. And I also suggest that in comparison to your standard PvP march, which might be, if you look at mine, for example, and I just released a video today talking about the Archer preset. So if you look at my Archer preset, over here, take a look at my Archer preset. So I don't have that much tier 14. I don't have that much tier 13, and I have a lot of tier 12. Or the idea is to load up on tier 12. But for Huns, the way that Huns are set up is they have very, very small layers. The layers are like 10 all the way up. And then at the top, for the tier 14 units, they have like 4 million, 5 million, something like that. So it doesn't make sense actually to have the same kind of a PvP preset. I actually wish I had different presets. And if I did, I would probably make my layers on here something like 100 maybe. if I could set a new preset. Instead of 1,000, I do 100, and I would maybe do 10,000 tier 12 archers, and I would do, I don't know, a split between tier 13 and tier 14, something like that. That's just my thought. And the reason that tier 13 and tier 14 are a better choice in tier 12 is because you're not concerned about the economics of your troops. You're going to get them back at the end of the battlefield. To defeat the NPC 9 and NPC 10, those final levels that are really tough, they reset all their troops every time you attack them. You can't just whittle down their troops. So you have to do as much power as possible. And the best way to do that is with the most powerful troops, in this case. So it's not the same kind of not exactly the same kind of a PvP march that you would do normally. So I would say tier 13 and tier 14. That's just my idea. If you guys have questions in chat, go ahead and ask them. I have my chat open here. But I think it's about time I can get started. If anybody here is, by the way, 200 million or above, I'm doing a nightmare, so I'm more than happy to take somebody in with me. You just have to add me to your friends list, and I can get you in. I think there was somebody in here that had messaged me earlier. I don't know if he's still around, but I'll give him a try. And if anybody in here is wanting to join, I'll wait for like a minute here. If I see anything in chat that you're going to send me a message, then I'll wait for you. But other than that, I think I can get started here. I've recalled my troops. I've healed everything. Yeah, I should be good. And for those of you that are just joining a little bit later, one final reminder here. Click that chest, collect your rewards. That's where you get them. I'm going to go Nightmare. Oh, and I did want to show you quickly. Let me just match on Hell. And I want to show you the kind of people that are joining Hell. And you can tell right away just from joining whether a group is going to be successful or not. So looking at this. Oh, I would... Yeah, this one is possible, but I would say I'm not going to join this. I would need these 3 to stay and these 3 to be replaced, and that just can't happen here. So I'm going to cancel that. And that's one thing you can do too. Like if you are playing by yourself, you can do that, what I just did. You can queue up, and if you don't like the group, then leave and just stop matching until you find something that you're comfortable with. You don't have to take the first group. All right. So, okay. I didn't get any messages, so I'm going to give it a shot here. And let's see. Let's see if I can find who wanted to join. I think it was this guy here. So I'll give him a second to see if he's still here. I don't know if he's still around. It was like an hour ago. Oh, look, he did show up. Good. All right. I hope, Dr. Sprawl, you're set up with your presets and everything is good to go. Let's auto match here. And I'm really going to take pretty much anything because I think I'm going to be okay. Yeah, look, this guy is even bigger than me. I think we're going to be just fine. Or maybe he got scared. I don't know. Oh, wait, this is Hell. What am I doing? Leave that, Dr. Sprawl. My bad. Ha, that could have been really bad. That was, see what I mean, though? That was not a group that would have been successful there. And I was like, oh, I can carry them, but not in Hell. I can't carry that in Hell. No, not a chance. All right, let's try this again. Create team. Dr. Sprawl, where are you at? Let's try this again. That could have been real bad. But yeah, that 5.7 billion guy, he quit real fast, and I'm like, why would he quit in Nightmare? And then I realized, yeah, that is not that's not Nightmare. Whoops. Yeah, no problem. I'm happy to do it. Okay, that's better. All right, let's see who we get matched with. So when you are joining this, make sure that you do have a preset that has layers all the way through. A lot of people at at lower levels might not have a preset that they use for PvP because not everybody does PvP at lower levels. But if you don't, it is definitely worthwhile to have some kind of a layered preset, at least on one of your tabs, so that you can do something like this. Even if you can't support all that much with troops, the layers do matter. This is a long time to wait. Ugh. I don't know why it's so cold here. I feel like it's freezing. What does this thing do up here? I've never seen this button. Are you sure you want to... Oh, you can leave the team like that. I didn't know. Look at that. I was like clicking out and then clicking the X, but you can actually just click this to confirm. That's cool. I got a whisper. Oh, Ixo, nice. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna, Dr. Sprawl, sorry, I'm gonna quit that again, and it's gonna be a little bit easier now. There, now I'm not gonna be carrying anybody. I'm gonna get carried here. I did hell again, look at that. Some of these things, like, it seems like it's not saving the last one I clicked, it's saving the last one I've done. So I keep doing that same thing. Oh well, things you learn. Okay. Invite. And invite. Oh, that was 31 minutes ago? Yeah, I never read my messages. Okay. Okay, who else? Do you think Keep 40 is going to happen this year? I honestly have no idea. I'm going to hope not, for the sake of pretty much every player in this game, because, Keep 35 was, in my opinion, released way too early. Just because a lot of people just hit Keep 30, and then the only ones that really were able to get to Keep 35 quickly, because it was such a huge amount of resources in comparison to getting to 30, were really people that spent a lot of money. And, that wasn't me. I was still able to get there fairly quick, but there's a lot of people that are still not even Keep 35. So I think it would be a terrible mistake for them to actually go Keep 40. It would discourage a lot of people from playing. Keep 40, sorry. It would discourage a lot of people from playing. Hi, Sammy. But I don't know. What I actually think would be a great idea, and this is just my personal opinion, is they should release something that is like releasing Keep 40, but it keeps everyone at Keep 35. And the only good example I can think of is if anyone has ever played Diablo 3, for example. It's an alright game, but when you get to the maximum level, you get gear and so on. But rather than doing what they do in some games and increase the level, and then everything becomes obsolete, what they did is they created this system called the Paragon thing, where you just keep getting these Paragon levels that are minor increases over your current level and your current whatever you are. But it doesn't like game change everything for everybody else. If that makes sense. I don't know. That's just an opinion. Like, they could do something like that that doesn't require you to overdo it, but it still gives those people that are at the top end of the pack a good way to get ahead. Like, I don't know. That's just a thought, but yeah. Question, do you think a preset ground archer is effective? I generally, Juan, I would suggest that you don't mix troops if you can avoid that. Simply because your buffs are going to be focused on one type of troop. And if you mix them up, you are impacting negatively the one that would normally be buffed, right? Like if you're doing an archer march and you're able to get 1 million archers, but you split that, it's going to be less successful. I have way too many friends and stuff. Where did OG go? I know he said he's speeding back. I don't know if he still got his invite. Sorry guys, it's taking a while to get started. I guess it's the time of night. But it was the same thing when I did auto match. It took so long to find anything. So it's easier to go in. See if I can snag. I can even snag from the world. Why not? I'll just make it easier. And then I don't have to do the auto match. Okay, create team. Let's try this again. Hopefully this time it'll work. I'll do OG and Dr. Sprawl and anyone in the world. My guess is not. This server's not so much. Once these two join, I'll be able to auto match. Okay. So I was talking about mixing troops. I would generally suggest you don't mix troops. That's just in terms of buff effectiveness. But then again, you do what you have to do. If you don't have enough troops to fill, then better than nothing. But generally, you want to focus just on one troop. And multiple tiers of one troop is what you would want to do. Do you have any tips for Keep 24? Yeah, focus on doing your keep and your buildings. It's a lot more important than army. You can take a look at my priorities video. I think that is honestly the most important thing to do for somebody's growth, what I say in that video. Although I will say that it is incredibly boring to just do resources. It basically turns into Farmville, and I know you came to play a war game, but then there's also the reality that in this game, if you try to play the war game, you're going to get completely crushed by absolutely everybody at a low keep level. That's just the reality. So until you actually get to a high keep level, you're not going to do a whole lot. Why are you not joining? And I think somebody else wanted to. It's taking a while. Resend invite again? Okay. Let's try it again. I don't even know if it's going to let me. Ah, man. that's kind of a clunky thing. When it expires, it would be nice if you could invite again in case somebody missed it, but okay. I've encountered quite a few bugs so far in this Huns thing. There was one time that I joined the game and it said like stage 6 and it was bugged and you couldn't do anything, nobody could do anything, but we reset the game and then it worked. Some people have also been saying that they had some bugs in the shop. I don't know. Sometimes when things get released, that's just how it is. All right. Will they ever add new generals? They have not added generals in a while. They did a while back. They added a few, but nothing too great. And then they added the fragment generals. I'm not sure if they will, San. I'm not sure. They might add a few. They might add a few more fragment generals maybe next year when these ones have gone through their cycle. I'm not sure. What about Archer March for server as a server? T14, 13, 12. Torabek, I actually just did a video for PvP Archer presets. I would recommend the bulk of it should be T12, just because T12 costs significantly less. And here we go. And then what I do something like 200,000 to 14 and like 400,000 or 300,000 13, and then the rest like 800,000 12. I don't know, something like that. Why? What happened to my world chat? Yeah, my world chat's a mess. Okay. Hopefully now the auto match will be okay. And I hope these guys are able to do 2 in a row because I need to get 2 done. What are some other things that I have noticed? Okay. Some people have joined. 73 million. I mean, it's not going to matter with our players. It's just, I don't know. That's weird. I'm using BlueStacks. So, okay. So, again, I'm going to tell OG to... Okay. So, what I was saying is... if it was hell, what I would suggest, just from experience here, is one player focus on buffing their ground, one player focus entirely on cavalry, and the rest go archers. You can get by, really, honestly, with really strong players just going all out archers or all out whatever. It works, but a little bit of variety, and then with a base of archers, I think is really effective. That's just my thought. But this is nightmare, so really I'm just going to be sending archers, and everybody else probably is too, because we're going to be overpowering this a little bit anyway. That's a good question, AD. Generals, the way that they have it, it's kind of funny, and that's what that in-game mail thing was. Are you going to rally? Oh, I did it in the last chat. Yeah, the generals die. If you lose and your general dies, it dies, and you have to revive it in the shrine. And I think that's just hilarious, number one, because there aren't a lot of ways for players to actually... I would normally buff, by the way, if it was hell, but I mean, I don't need to here. Not that I have a shortage of buffs. Here, I'll just use these ones because when else will I ever use these ones? But the funny thing is they don't have a good way to get revival stones in the game. So I actually sent them a message, customer service a message. Hopefully they do something. And what I said is, I get they want to be vicious with killing generals and stuff, but they have to at least have something in the game where players can actually do something about their dead generals and not have to wait, because then it kind of makes you not want to do Huns if your generals are going to die. A lot of players are going to be in that boat that they're like, well, my general's dead, I guess I'm not doing Huns, and I guess I can't play the game. And so I said, why not just put revival stones in the battlefield shop, the Huns shop, for flex, so that players have the option to buy them if they need them. I don't know. It seems like an obvious thing to me, and hopefully they'll do that. But we'll see. You never know. I also gave them some suggestions on how they could improve the whole thing, because it's actually really fun. Like right now, I actually enjoy this, but I can see after like a month, I'll be like, this is a long time to queue up for this thing, and I really want the refining stones, but I don't know, it's taking a lot of time, and I got to go through 10 levels. Can I just like maybe skip to level 10? I don't know. Like it'll become really tedious, is what I think, and you have to do 3, and then over the course of 3 days, it's a lot. And one of the things that I thought, is just my thought, they could do some kind of like a ladder system where you have it. I suggested this to them, but who knows if they'll ever do. Where the level of the Huns starts at level 1 like it normally does, and then it just grows in difficulty, and there's no end to it. So it can just continue to like level 100 or so on, and it just gets harder and harder. And nobody will ever complete it, but there could be potentially a ranking system involved. And what I suggested too is when you get to certain milestones, like maybe you get to level 10 and you get this, you get to level 15, you get this, and you get it one time. Things like new generals that are only from here, things that may be like a dragon that you can use in here, or you can use outside, but it's only obtainable here. Like, I don't know, something like that to make it so that you want to progress and you want to do better, and you can form groups together to really try to push your limits. I think that would make it really fun, and I can see this getting boring after, I don't know, a while. But I do enjoy it. I think it's a really interesting design, very different from the other battlefields. So, I don't know. We'll see where they go with this. It's just a starting place. So the buffs that I chose so far, I focused on my ranged troops. And of the next one that I had, I didn't have any ranged troop buffs. I could have went with improving my ground, but I know that I'm going to be ranged all the way to the end, so there's no point there. So I decided I'm just going to do all troops to buff my team. And if you're a small player, what I suggest in the other video is that you buff your team as much as possible, because really they're going to be carrying the load a lot more. What other things did I notice? Okay, this troop healing thing right here, it says team 10%. What that means is that of your wounded troops, what actually happens is 10% of those wounded troops are going to come back, like they're going to be revived for this Hun stuff. So for the first many levels, that means absolutely nothing. But if you're on like level 8, level 9 in Hell, and you're like, I'm only 500 million, I've lost most of my troops, it could be something that you might consider. For somebody that's really large power and you have disposable troops, not a big deal. But for somebody that is, at the bottom end of being in the that difficulty level, it could make a big difference. What are some other things that I saw here? So you can increase your rally capacity. That's not generally something that I would do, just because we're not going to be capped. What are some other things that people chose? This guy chose Tier 10 mercenary personal plus 700. So basically, instead of choosing to get buffed, and I'm not trying to criticize him, I'm just saying that getting 7,000 tier 10 troops is a lot less impactful than something like this, 35% increase for attack, defense, and HP of your ranged troops. This just gives you 7,000 troops of tier 10 cavalry. Why? Why is that even in there? Don't ever choose that. That's awful. Okay. And one thing that I've learned, a mistake that I make a lot, especially when I'm recording these videos, is I'm pressing around in here, I'm looking at reports and stuff, and then the buffs come up, and then I miss it. Because they only give you like 10 seconds, and you miss it, and then you get stuck with something that's terrible, which doesn't usually end up mattering for me, but in hell it really could. It could make a big difference if I'm not paying attention. What other things in here are worth noting? Okay, he did a better thing here. I wouldn't worry about that rally capacity again. And these 10% healing, it's probably really way too early to do that. This is not like healing speed or anything like that. You probably have very little wounded at this point. I'm going to do this real quick. Like, look how much power I've lost. 300,000. That's not a whole lot of power. So there's not a lot of wounded troops, and you're going to get 10% of those back. It doesn't seem like it's worthwhile this early on. So, and now it's up to 50%. Like, it's 50% of basically nothing, because it doesn't get hard until after. I'm going to increase ground troop for the team. Why not? What about sieged in the march? Should they be used? Well, I have layers of siege. If you have... Thing with siege is siege attacks siege for the most part. I mean, you could have somebody do siege, but siege themselves don't have really high attack. So I'm not usually concerned about siege in these. And even look at the level 6. If you click on it, you can see what kind of troops they have. So these are tier 11s, and this is how many. How do you have like point? Okay, it's thousands. I guess I'm tired. So they have 500,000 roughly of each of these troops, and I don't know. If you look at the attack, for example, 1.9k. That's weird. Oh, hold on. I'll go to the next screen because it's gonna jump me forward. But generally, siege machines don't have very high attack in comparison to other troops, so they're not like something you really need to worry about. Unless it's like a massive player. But for the Huns, I wouldn't focus on trying to get rid of the siege. They're going to die just from the cavalry and the archers and the ground. I would focus on the strong troops and buffing the best troop that you have. That's really how you should look at this. Level 7 Huns for Nightmare. Here we are, and they're up to... Now we have like a million ground. We've got 500,000 archers, got cavalry, and these guys. Generals do not earn experience in this battlefield, which is the only battlefield that is that case. And that's kind of a weird thing. Thank you, Kaza. Your generals can die, but they can't earn experience. Unless their experience is to die a horrible death. That's the only experience they get. Siege is a weird choice. I mean, Siege just doesn't have a lot of power, and it's kind of a weird choice. You should treat it like a player. You don't usually rally with Siege unless the other player has a lot of Siege and you're trying to break down their Siege, and that's never going to be the case here. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to me why somebody would do that. Is it worth building traps? I have traps of every tier, but only like 1,000. And I have that just because I don't know if that has an impact on battle or not, and if it counts as like additional layers because they get slowed down. I don't know how it works, and I don't think anybody does. So I just built them just in case they do work. But what I think is traps suck. They suck in terms of kill power, and they suck in terms of sucking your resources. They're just awful. And if they didn't die in battlefield, I would use them, quite honestly. But if you go to battlefield of Constantinople or Guagamela, and you're PvPing and you get zeroed, people will force port you, or they'll hit you a bunch of times, and then you'll lose all your traps. So you could spend a billion resources on traps and lose it all in one battlefield. What's the point? You should just build the troops. You're gonna get the troops back, so build the troops with those resources. Anyway, I would like to see traps being useful, but as they are right now, realistically, just because of them getting destroyed and not rebuilt after battlefield, I don't bother with them. I don't think they're worth the resources. I just put into troops. All right, we are over on, what is this, 9? I don't even know what to do here. Okay, so what are we looking at? There's 1.4 million ground, and then there's 2 million archers, very little cavalry, and you got some siege there. So if you were struggling, the correct choice here would probably to have, if you were struggling and people were split up, I still would suggest that you go 1 ground, 1 cavalry, and full archers, even though really the counter to archers is ground and the counter to ground is cavalry. But if you have the one person of each that buffed the ground and the cavalry, that really covers it. So you'll be okay. And those archers are not going to be useless either. So I would still, I'd say that would still stand up there. Thank you, Line. Yes, I would definitely focus on your keep. But don't use your speed ups until tomorrow, because then it's speed up consumption event and you'll get rewards for using speed ups. So what you should typically try to do is use your resources during the resource consumption, and then you got to wait an extra week of this dead time where there's nothing, and then it's speed up consumption, and then you can use your speed ups for your keep and get rewards there. So it kind of doubles up the possibility of getting rewards. At this point, if you are low on troops, you might do something like 50% healing, get some of those troops back. That's not the case for me, so I'm just going to go with the first one. I even didn't get to click it, but I had it selected, so I think it clicked it for me. Hopefully. I don't know. Not that I need it. All right. All right, let's finish this off and take a look at what the level 10 looks like. So the level 10 here, 1.4 million of each troop. And I think for the hell mode, it's actually 4.9 million of each troop, I think. And they're higher level troops. And this total power is 200 million, and the difference in power for the hell mode is basically 2 billion. So it's, wow, 100 times bigger? Is that right? 1,000 times bigger? I don't know. 100, couple zeros in there. Okay. And that one's done. There's a lot more people in here now than there were at the start, so I'll just send this reminder because it's not very intuitive. Click after you finish your battlefield. If you haven't done it before, click that chest at the top right, the flashing thing, go to the mode you were in and claim all those. You can only claim it once per event, which means that if you are able to do 1 hell and 1 nightmare, then do it. Or if you're able to do a nightmare and a hard, then do it. I mean, the rewards for this one aren't significant enough that I'm going to go down and do it. But, you know, if you're around there, you might consider doing one hard, one normal, or, you know, whatever, something like that. You know, do one more. And I don't know if they can all join, but let's see. I'll send the invites anyway. Who else was in there? Can't even remember. I'm missing one person, I feel. Maybe not. Oh, okay. No more attempts for you, no problem. And I guess I could do that. You can do a hard. If there's anybody in here that doesn't qualify for Nightmare, then and you want to get in here real quick, if you send me a message, I can get you in. So I'll cancel this then. Anybody here for hard want to come in here? We got a couple spots. I know a lot of people probably already used their attempts anyway. He's probably wanting to do hard just for the same reason I said, that if you do multiple, you get the rewards. If I do Nightmare and Hell, I don't get these rewards anymore. So I'm going to get less flags to spend, but I will get, you know, some of these things, and not that they're all that great. But I don't know, it's something. Why not? And there's some people that can be helped along the way with the hard that normally couldn't do it. But last call for anybody here that wants to join hard mode and has an attempt left. You only need to be 15 million power. That's the lowest. And I promise I can carry you. So if you're 15 million power and you have an attempt and you want to join here, then just send me a message and we'll add you to the friends list and get you in here. But you got to be quick. In the meanwhile, any more questions here that I can answer? Many people came in a little bit later. At the very beginning, I discussed some battle reports on Hell and some of my thoughts on best strategies to be successful there, and also talked about the rough sizes you should be for each. Line, no, you do not have to be on the same server. You can be on a different server. The workaround is you can invite people that are either in your alliance or that are on your friends list. So if you're on a different server, like that person that I had here, Dr. Sprawl, is in a completely different, I don't even know what server this person's on. Somewhere. Who knows? No idea. But yeah, if somebody's on your friends list, then that's all it takes. So you would just have to send me a message in game, or you can even send me a friend request, and I'll just add you, and that's it. That's all you need. And also, that brings up a good point. If any of you are in my Discord, or if you're not in my Discord, you should definitely get in there. I put in a channel for, I think it's called like Huns LFG, Huns Looking for Group. So if you're looking for people to do Huns with, like you see how difficult it is for me to get people from my alliance and so on sometimes. If you are looking for people, try in there. You can just join the channel and say I'm looking for some people for hard mode or whatever, and all you would all you would have to do is send a friend request and add them and invite, and that's it. There's no system like that other than auto match in Evony, and you could end up with anything in auto match. So I don't know. If you want to use that, it's there to be used. Okay. Yeah, Juan, you can definitely join. Let me put my coordinates here. So you just have to go to server 82 and just go to these coordinates, and you can just send me a friend request. And if there's anybody else, then there's still like a minute or two before we start probably. All right. So I guess I'll just wait for Juan here. As soon as he sends a friend request, I can get this started and I'll auto match with the rest, unless there's somebody else that is joining. So if you have not had a chance to look at it yet, take a look at the PvP Archer preset video thing that I put out earlier today. I wasn't planning to release it so early, but some people were asking about how to layer marches and so on for this, and it's close enough. So you, what name? It's Bimon, but it has like a alien face like that. I mean, you could just go to the coordinates and then click friend request kind of thing, but how do you even add here? I feel like there should be like a button to add friends, but I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna release, I guess, I have a ground preset video and a cavalry and a siege. They're all lined up, and I'll release one tomorrow, I think, and every 2 days or so I'll release another one. But if you do have any requests of things that you'd really like to see videos on in any of the series, then send me a message in Discord and give me some ideas. I have some time here and there, and I can make some videos. Okay, there we go. Sun Tzu. Is that you, Juan? Or is that somebody else? That's you, Sam? Okay. All right, we're gonna get started, I think. Let's do this. Huns Invasion, we're gonna do hard, just to get those extra rewards from clicking up here and to help out some lower people. So let's create the team. There's OG. And there is Mystique. I don't know if she's on my friends list. Maybe. We'll see. Nope, I guess not. Why not? I was actually joking. Why not? Oh, because it's qualified? Are you not 15 million power, Mystique? Come on. No, you are. Oh, there you are. That's weird that it's not appearing on friends. That is so weird. Okay, and then there was another player that just sent me a message, and that was Sun Tzu. Where is Sun Tzu? This is really weird. It's not even showing like a quarter of my friends list. That is not cool. Okay, well this is obviously a bug, and I guess I'll be sending Evony another message that like it does not show you your complete friends list. I mean, I do have way too many people on my friends list, but still, like, it should scroll down more than this. Well, Sun Tzu, I am sorry, but I have no way to actually add you. That really sucks. Look at this. And it doesn't even, like, refresh. There's no way to get to a new page. Yeah, that... Lady Hey Hey. Okay. I'll try if you're quick enough. Yeah, this is... Come on. Come on, Evony. You can program a little better than that, I think. If you've never been invited before, there's a bubble that pops up in the left side of your screen. So it's you know, it doesn't just pop up anywhere. It actually has to be on like the left side of your screen, right under the quest. It'll pop up here. It'll be some flashing thing that that tells you you're invited. Yeah, that's annoying. Okay, and there's Mystique. And yeah, I guess I'll just... Sorry, guys. I'll try to get Evony on this so that they can do something. Not that they'll listen to me, but I really hope that would work. I mean, I have like a lot of people on my friends list. People keep adding me, so it's a little bit cluttered. Okay, let's get this going. Otherwise, we're going to be here for quite a while. Okay. Sorry to you three that we're trying to get in. I didn't expect Evony to you know, have these kind of glitches, but you never know, right? Sorry. Okay. Question, where can I find Monarch gear to level up? You don't find Monarch gear generally. You can get Monarch gear through these chests that drop off of monsters and stuff, and it just kind of happens, but you don't... Where is it? The stupid chest. But it's not a very good way to find Monarch gear, like these things. You don't get a lot, and they're very slow coming. So the best way to actually get your Monarch gear up is to patrol. You can just click refresh and refresh until you get some good stuff. Eventually you'll start getting, after you refresh like, I don't know, 20 times, you'll start to get orange Monarch gear really, really quickly. I mean, I can do it, but eventually my match is going to start. and you'll get them very consistently. If you spend a lot of time doing patrols, you can get your Monarch gear up quite high. You'll get level 1s like that too, but this is really the best way to get your Monarch gear up. And yeah, it's kind of a pain in the butt, but you can do it very, very quickly. And it really doesn't cost a whole lot of gold or gems to get your Monarch gear up. It just takes a lot of time. And that's why I rarely do it. But I should honestly do that. That's a long time to match. I should probably check. These people are not... Why is it... What? Did I mess it up? Come on. Because I was in there? Why does it say 0? Oh man, all these glitches. So apparently if you're not in the screen and you're doing other things, then what, they don't actually get invited? I have no idea what's going on. Oh man. And you know, sometimes it glitches, and it might even be that it might even be that they, I mean, obviously it isn't, but it could have been that they got in and then I'm stuck out, because there's all kinds of things that are happening like that. All right, let's try this again. And this time I won't be dumb and jump around. Okay. Let's do this again. And let's see if a friends list is working a little better. I know I saw OG on there. Nope. Guess I gotta rely on this. And there's Mystique. And what? I must have skipped OG. There you are. Okay. The BOC ones? Yeah. I mean, I like streaming the BOC and BOG. It's just, you know, with everything that happens here, like I've got, you know, my family at home and stuff, obviously, and a lot of the times that we do it happen to be during the day, so it's rare that I get to stream. But at night is usually when it happens, but that's not when we do BOC or BOG, so... Okay, they're already in. All right. It's kind of a clunky system. I'm sure it'll be improved with some kind of an update at some point. Wow, okay. Interesting. I guess I will move on to something else. Okay, I guess they are going. So then, interesting. Let me do a nightmare. And This is a little bit longer than I was expecting it to be. I thought it was going to be done in like 10 minutes. Oh well. We get to do a lot of talking and question answering and stuff, which is cool too. So keep up with the questions, because this isn't going to be that tough. They made your eyes heavy? Yeah. I have that deep, soothing voice. No, not really. Okay. What did I click? Is this hard? They seem really small for a nightmare. I thought I clicked nightmare. Oh well, it doesn't really matter what it is. Okay, guess I'll rally. And I have no idea what I joined. I'm not sure if it's hard or nightmare. 9.9 million. I don't know. Okay, let's do this. So if you are the rallier, which I'm trying to be, oh. If you are the rallier, which I am here, then is my internet being slow? Oh, it's nightmare? Okay, good. I think my internet went slow for some reason, which never happens. If you are the rallier, it doesn't really matter what time you set. I mean, hopefully people join fast enough, because you are automatically going to be able to just click attack now, and unlike in the real game, I don't know if I'm back. Hopefully I'm back. My internet is hiccuping. I don't know why. It doesn't usually do that. I have no idea what buff I chose, because I didn't get to choose. Looks like I got mounted troop HP. Oh, okay. Well, I guess I'll rally with mounted. Why not? Let's go that route. I'll be the mounted rallier. So let's do that. And if that's the case, I'm going to switch my ring. Okay. I usually have a double drop ring on Baybars because I don't actually have a cavalry general. Like, my Baybars is pretty darn strong. He's got excellent refines and stuff, and he's great, but, you know, it could always be better. I need this ring right here. I've never tried doing mounted leading, but hopefully the follow-up, like hopefully the other players are strong enough, because if not, then I'll switch to archer at the end. But I don't know. We'll see. Okay, and let's move on. So as I said in the previous one, it's better to try to focus on just one troop that you're going to go with, because the solo buffs are significantly better than the team buffs in general. But the exception is if you're a small player, then you probably want to go more team buffs, because it's more of a support to increase those percentages than to buff your own personal troops. But I don't know. That's just a thought. I mean, there's going to be a lot of different ways to look at this. Okay. There we go. So I want to see what people are sending. This is Nightmare, and we're probably going to be just fine to the end, even if I'm going Cavalry and kind of relying on them. But let's see what these people are sending. This person looks like they're doing a great job of layering. You don't even have to have big layers. It's clicking around. This person's not doing any layers, which is If you watch the very beginning of this video later, if you came in late, I kind of show you how important layers are. There's been a lot of people that say layers don't matter, and they probably don't matter if you're like 7 billion, you have ridiculous buffs and all that. You know, you're going to get your troops back anyway. But I kind of show you that in the report that I share at the very beginning, it does matter. And for most players, unless you're like billions and billions and billions of power, and it's going to matter. And it will improve your success because you'll have less wounded from one to the other, and you'll get significantly more kills as well, which improves your success chance. So definitely layer. Okay, let's try this again. Let's take a look again. So, yeah. What are you sending? Oh, it's clicking around. So we got archers, archers, excellent archers. I was kind of hoping for that. They're not layered, so they're I don't know. It'll probably be just fine. I've never tried to do cavalry here, but we'll see. See how it goes. Attack now. Why did he get recalled? Anyway. Moving on. Line, yeah, at the very beginning of this one, I share a report from the level 10. I'll improve my range troop again. Even though I'm doing cav, I'll just do that as a backup, just improve it a little bit. I talk about layers in one of the reports that I share, of a level 10 report, where I did some testing with what kind of a layer to send. So 3 different people, all archers, sent different levels of layers, and one didn't have layers, and the player that didn't have layers is a really strong player. And despite him having excellent buffs and so on that are significantly higher than my own, he had far less kills, far more wounded, just from the lack of layers. And of course it didn't matter in the end because it was level 10 and we defeated it pretty easily anyway. But it does matter for a lot of players. So definitely try to layer if you can. Line, I do have a series called The Art of War that I just started, and it does discuss layers and how to set that up, so you should take a look at that. I'm going to go here and try this out. I want to see what my cavalry wounded are. Let's take a look. So what's it looking like at a level 5? I'm actually getting quite a bit of wounded. Of course, I mean, cavalry leading, that's just what it is. And those are not good buffs at all. Wow. Am I in the wrong gear? No. Weird. Okay. Anyway, we'll go with it. I'll switch to archer if I need to. There's something else I want to cover again because people did come in a bit later. One of the things that I did notice in that testing that I did earlier today is most traditional PvP marches, which is what most people will tell you to use, they use a bulk of T12 as the primary troop, which is, it's fine. But in this case, if you look at the troops that these players or these NPCs have, you look at the types of troops that they have. I'd actually have to go to the battle. They're going to have to excuse me for being a little bit slower here. But I'm going to scroll down anyway. And it shouldn't be that long because they don't layer. this one did. Okay, so if you look at their troops, they have a large amount of the highest tier troops, and then after that it's like 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. So they have layers, but insignificant layers. So you want layers that are very small, but big enough to be greater than their own. So looking at my layers, I have 3,000, which is, or 1,000, 2,000, like it depends. If you look at my preset, I can't, darn, I can't do that. No, I will not buy that. Thank you very much. If you look at my preset, you'll see that my layers are like 1,000 and so on. I could change that to like 100 for the purpose of this, but the bulk of my troops are tier 12, and then I have a good amount of tier 13 and some tier 14. But in this case, you're not really caring about the economic value of your troops. You usually send tier 12 because they do a lot of attack and they have really good stats for being tier 12 units, which don't cost as much as tier 13 and tier 14. But in this case, you're going to get all your stuff refunded back, and you only get one shot to attack these keeps. Like if I attack, what I mean by that is if I attack this keep and we fail, all of these troops are reset to normal. They don't get reduced by whatever you killed. You have to beat this in one shot. So you want to use the highest power troops generally that you can. So I would suggest that you go with your top 2 layers, or mostly even with your top 1. So I'll give you an example of what I mean here with my own. So I'll go to my cavalry here, and instead of sending a lot of tier 12, I'm only going to send that much. And I'm going to send maybe like 600,000 13s, and then I'm going to increase my 14s. If you're top heavy and you have a lot of the 14s and 13s or whatever your top 2 are, you're doing more damage because they only have that upper tier of troops, and you'll be able to roll through all the layers, and then you'll have a lot of troops left to do that significant damage. You don't have to eat through big layers. So definitely try to use the more powerful troops where possible. Okay, I can launch, I think, attack. Anyway, that's my suggestion. This is all like preliminary stuff, right? This is the first time that it has come out in the first round of doing this. But those are just my thoughts. So take it or leave it. It's up to you. Stage 9. Wonder what kind of wounded I have now. Just want a little bit more. What does it look like? Ooh, I'm taking a lot of wounded now. I mean, I have a lot of troops left, but at level 9, I might actually have to switch to Archer. I hope this wasn't a mistake. I'm going to blame my internet for disconnecting me and taking me on this terrible route. Hopefully they can back me up with archers, but I don't mind the losses. It's not like I'm going to lose my troops permanently. Okay, let's do what I just said, and especially for these last ones, I want to make sure that I am top heavy, and that should be good. Let's take a look at my report. Well, my mounted buffs are actually much worse than I thought. Okay, so I lost a lot, but I killed a lot. Okay. I mean, it's really expected to lose mounted like that just because they're mounted, right? They rush onto the battlefield very quickly and the archers pick them off. But they're still making it through, so we're going to be just fine. Okay, let's launch this thing. It's only the level 10 that I'm worried about being the only person in here with a lot of power and being completely cavalry based. How bad was it? Let's see. 91.3 million. I lost half my troops. Whew, that's a lot. It's a lot to lose. All right. One thing that you may or may not know is there's that stage buff thing, right? This thing. What these actually mean are these are the buffs that you're getting. So they increase based off of the things that you chose, but also the team buffs. So what other people choose to increase your stats. Like I did nothing for Siege, but that was an increase from other places doing like plus all to troops and so on. Looks like they increased range a little bit too. I can go range if we fail here. But hopefully we don't. I've never done this. I would definitely not do this in hell unless there are people backing up with archers. I'm gonna see what happens if I reduce that and increase that. Let's do that. Okay. Okay. All right. Have they all joined? 6. Let's do this. Hopefully I don't fail. Oh, we won. All right. That's going to be a really dirty report. But I guess it worked out. Okay. Let's take a look at how bad that was. I probably lost pretty much all my troops, I'm guessing. But I did go all tier 14, so let's see how that worked out. I'm actually curious. Look at that. See, that just goes to show how much of a difference it made by being top heavy. You saw that in the last report, and this is some things to take away here. In my last report with the level 9, I mean, it is different troops a little bit, but keep this in mind, right? Like, I had a mix of tier 13 and tier 14, and I was still top heavy. If I had done tier 12, we might have actually lost this. But then when I switched and I went all tier 14, they performed quite a bit better. And the reason that that works so well is just because the layers of the opponent are so small. I mean, look at what my mounted did. They killed 3 million just from that level, and here's another 100,000 from the dregs of what's left down here. So just on my own, from my cavalry, there's only, 6 million troops, and I killed about 4 million, 4.5 million just from my cavalry attack. And they were able to, shoot their little pea shooters and kill off whatever was left, which is great. So that definitely helps. Okay, so some last things to take away here. The battlefield shop. One thing I don't know, oops, that's not the shop. One thing I don't know is whether the flags will stick around after the event. And I mentioned this in the first stream that I did. I don't know if they're going to stick around. It might be that they operate in the same way that these things do, like the cards and so on, where you have to use them or they empty themselves out each time. I don't know. It's the first time that it's been around. I would assume that it operates like badges and dragon crystals, and they don't go away. They're just a currency. But I'm going to err on the side of caution, and I'm just going to buy refining stones, which are a pretty good deal. One visual thing that's really weird about this shop is runestone chests and refining stones and so on. The numbers here, they keep counting down. So I think that this means that you can buy it 50 times, but it also said 50 at the beginning, which shows that you could, you get 50 at a time. So you actually get 50 refining stones every time you purchase this, and you can do it 50 times. I don't know how you're going to get that much flags unless you save up. But it's pretty weird that it happens like that. I don't know. I haven't clicked this one. If anyone has actually tried the material bag, how many, if you know, put in chat how many you actually get for purchasing this. I know this is 50, and this is 50, and this is probably 50 as well. But what's this? That would be interesting to know. Okay. Any questions here before we close down the stream? I definitely want to thank you guys for popping in and watching this. I know it was kind of a clunky one with getting people to join and all the glitching and stuff. You know, I can't control all of that, unfortunately. And it is the first time that Huns has happened, so you know it's expected that there are some potential bugs. But I don't know. Hopefully, I was able to give you some information that's useful and will help you be successful in your future runs. And eventually, possibly the next time it comes around, whenever that is, a week or 2 weeks from now, I might do like an instructional video like I do with the other things rather than just a live stream. This is more just to give you, kind of a heads up of things in case you're struggling or just to understand it better. So it's just an informal kind of thing. One level 5 material from the silk bag thing, I don't know. That's why I was asking. Like the Battlefield shop, it doesn't tell you how many of anything you're gonna get. Like you buy this, you get 50, even though it doesn't say you're gonna get 50. It says you can buy it 50 times. This one, I don't know. You probably get one. It doesn't really tell you. I don't know. And I don't know anyone that actually did. Like if you only get one, this is a terrible price for it. Like that's awful. 1,000 flags for just one material bag, that's terrible. But if you get 5 or if you get 10, then it might be like, not bad. If you get 50, well, I'm going to buy that every time. But I don't know. I'd have to wait for somebody to actually have the courage to buy one and let me know. Okay, it doesn't look like there are any questions, so I guess I will end the stream now. Thank you for watching, and keep an eye out tomorrow for the ground attack march, that video that I'm gonna set out sometime at, I don't know, about noon my time probably. All right, I'll stick around and chat for a minute or two, but again, thank you for watching.